Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1307.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about the S&P at record highs and how the market is taking off, surprising some people. But it's not surprising to us because we've been talking about that since last October when we talked about the lift we were going to get into the first half of this year. Just this week, the S&P 500 added 1.1%. And year to date, the S&P is up 4%, the Dow is up 2.53%, and the NASDAQ is up 4.11%. Great start for this year already. Why are we up so much? Well, first of all, we've had 4 straight increases each week since the beginning of the year. That's a very strong bullish indicator. We also have strong tech earnings. So a lot of tech companies reported this week. We had Meta report and they jumped 20% after their quarterly results were better than analysts' expectations. They also announced a quarterly dividend for the first time ever and authorized a $50 billion share buyback program. Amazon jumped 7.9% on great fourth quarter earnings. Also, Etsy rose 5%. We also had Merck and Caterpillar lead the index higher, jumping more than 5% and 4% respectively. And Visa and Amgen also gained more than 3%. So we're getting good earnings from tech companies and other large companies, but also it's the message that the Fed has shifted from keeping interest rates higher for longer to sounding more like saying we're done hiking and we're likely easing into 2024, which doesn't surprise us because this is an election year. Now, the Fed does look at the data, and what the data is saying is that consumer confidence is gaining quite a bit. In fact, the most since the end of the Gulf War 33 years ago. The 2-month gain in consumer sentiment was up 17.7 points in December and January, just reported by the University of Michigan, the most since March of 1991. We also had inflation expectations for 2024 at 2.9% in the latest survey, the lowest since December 2020's reading of 2.5%. So the consumer is sounding very, very strong. Its positivity has had an enormous jump, and that may be due to some of what is going on in the job market. The U.S. economy added 353,000 jobs in January, easily beating economists' expectations, which expected 185,000. So 353,000 versus 185,000, that is an enormous increase over what was expected. Wages also expanded by 4.5% year over year, which was more than what was forecasted at 4.1%. So while the market was a little bit disappointed that Chairman Powell didn't come out and sound dovish, especially for something shorter term like March, now expectations are looking more for the Fed to make their first cut around the June time horizon. It doesn't mean it can't happen sooner. It could, but also the market will anticipate this and the futures will drive down interest rates even before the Fed officially cuts them. So we will still see lower interest rates in the marketplace even without a Fed rate cut. So things are still looking bullish for the first half of this year, as I've been projecting, and we're continuing to see good returns coming in, positive earnings from technology companies and other S&P 500 leaders. Inflation is down and consumer confidence is up in a big way. That's very good news since the consumer makes up 70% of the economy. However the consumer feels is how the economy goes. So if the consumer is feeling that much more positive, that is an extremely good sign. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. And all of my podcasts are on my website at lindapjones.com/podcasts. And while you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter for more tips for your financial freedom. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.